It was no more than a month ago. It was a Wednesday afternoon. I was driving here to the world headquarters of the Catholic TV network, coming to work in the afternoon. And I went the route that I always go, kind of the back roads between my rectory, which is probably 5 miles from here, and the world headquarters here in Watertown. Back roads, couple of major streets. I got to the street that really leads me here to Catholic TV, and for whatever reason, that particular afternoon, there was a lot of traffic, a whole lot of traffic. And as I turned the corner onto the street, I ended up behind a truck, a construction truck, and in the back of the truck, literally now right in front of me, was a sign that, well, I had never seen before. I'm guessing this same sign is on other trucks, but I'd never seen it. And it said, in bold letters, construction vehicle, do not follow. What was I going to do? I was right behind the truck. I had nowhere else to go. I had to follow the truck. And the entire time that I was behind it, all I could see was that sign, do not follow, as I was following. I'm very happy that I was not that far away. I wasn't following it that long. I thought maybe it was a new law that I was unaware of and I was breaking the law. I really didn't know. I didn't know what else to do. Do not follow. Eventually, I went left to Catholic TV. He continued straight on. Do not follow. I needed to follow. The readings, my friends, this day, the readings this week, the past couple of weeks, really, if you've been listening, they're about following. Even though people around, people in the world, people in your own circles might say, don't follow. The readings are about the resiliency and the power and the strength that's ours when we do follow Jesus. That first reading from Acts of the Apostles, it's kind of like the continuing adventures this week of Paul and Barnabas. Sometimes people listened, some people didn't. Sometimes people were very happy, sometimes people were very angry, but it never stopped them. It never stopped them. They found a great peace in Jesus, and they wanted to share that peace with everyone that would listen. Today's reading, very interesting. They encounter a group of people who really don't like them or what they're saying, and Paul is literally beaten up. He's stoned, beaten pretty badly, and left for dead. And what happens? There's a line that is so important. They gathered around him. It says quite simply that they circled around him. They circled around him. He was on the ground, had been beaten and stoned, and they circled around him. What do you think they were doing? What do you think they were doing? They were praying. They circled around him and they prayed. Imagine Paul. In the beginning, maybe unconscious, very hurt. But when he started to come to, he heard prayer. He heard people who cared about him, taking care of him with the power of the Lord, with the power of God, with Christ by their side. It strengthened him to the point where he was able to get up. They took him away. They took care of him, and he continued to follow. He continued to speak. He continued to preach. My friends, when we pray, when we take the time to pray, we get better. We get better. Whether or not we get exactly what we pray for, in the end really doesn't matter, because we get better. And we can face the situation in such a clearer way, because prayer changes the heart. Prayer changes our attitude. And when our hearts and attitudes change, our behavior changes, and we are brave enough to share the gift of faith with people around us. We end up being what Jesus offers to us in the gospel this day, we end up being a bit more peaceful. In the chaos of our own everyday life, when we take the time to place ourselves in his presence, he becomes present to the tumult, the trial, the tribulation, the hardship, whatever it may be. And we hear these words, "Peace I leave you, my peace I give it to you." We hear that, my friends, every time we gather together for Mass. We're reminded. That's how important it is to be reminded, to remember that no matter what we face, no matter what we might face this day, we don't face it alone. The Lord always circles around us. He steps into the chaos with us and gives us the strength that we need to get up, to start again, and continue to follow him, to follow his word, and to live with such strength and such courage that no matter what signs might say around us, we continue to put ourselves in his presence so that we can not only hear his voice, but use the power of his love in some way each and every day.